Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 15 of the Tech Team podcast where Black excellence and tech meet. I am Janita.
I'm Charles.
And welcome to another week with us. Obviously, we're down a man. As the sole woman on the podcast, I would like to brag that I always show up for work, while these two guys just seem to take vacation and enjoy their lives. But maybe that's a call for an all guys show or something, you know. But great cause. Happy birthday to our missing co-host Otis.
Happy birthday, Ulrich.
Yes, he is out in Africa living life. So
happy birthday to your brother. We love you, and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah. So you'll be rocking with Charles and I for a couple weeks. And this week we're actually talking about agentic AI. And so just to frame us up, we've of course talked about AI before, but we want to start shifting into being more specific about what kinds of AI we have, different technology, and how to approach it. And so I love the thought of saying that agentic AI, when you're looking at it, it's like, okay, if you think of ChatGPT as like a study buddy or somebody who you can learn from, but they kind of are on the same page as you know, you sit there. Well, agentic AI is like your cousin that comes in and takes your order for what you want while you're studying, runs out, gets the food, brings back the receipt to show you how much you spent. That is the difference between them. So for a ChatGPT AI, you ask it questions, but agentic, it's actually doing and running the work for you.
Okay, so ChatGPT, you ask it a question, you give it an answer, and that's where it stops.
Now, granted, there are things like it can do reminders, it can run maybe a specific task if you tell it, but it's not the same as agentic AI where it'll actually be like, hey, what I'd like for you to do is every morning talk to my MailChimp app. I want you to tell MailChimp to send out, 5 emails to 5 different segments. And then once those emails are sent, I want you to then make sure that they were sent through another system. And after you ensure that, I want you to run a report back to me with what the click-through rate was, how many open people there are, and how many conversions came from those emails. But I want that to be already put into my annual report or something like that. So it has to be something that actually does that, but then it can happen on repeat. So then every day, think about it as like it's stacking your annual report or your quarterly report for you.
So now we're giving AI thumbs. It's doing all of our digital tasks, right? So the big shift is instead of managing the apps yourself, now we have ChatGPT, agentic AI coming together to do everything for us. So I think it's interesting how we went from a world of just, oh, look at all these new apps. We could download apps for, doing tasks around your house or scheduling a car service or ordering food. Now it's, if I don't need to leave my house or do anything, then I can set up my own AI to run my daily life. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I thought was interesting is, so when you think about it, it's like grounded in devices. You have phones, laptops, and even wearables that are starting to integrate agentic AI. So it's also expanding from even just something on your laptop. You're now wearing agentic AI. As we know, there are tons of things coming out. Most recently, the new Meta glasses that just dropped not too long ago. Actually, was that last week at this point when we air? Last week it'll say last week when we air. And so, it's interesting because when you say it can run everything, I looked up some things of like everyday use cases for this, and I found it super interesting. Depending on where you work and how you work, it can be something as simple as email triage, so drafting replies to people, unsubscribing from all spam, prioritizing urgent messages based on how you tell it to, even household help, which I thought was interesting, having a smart fridge that can track your groceries, recommend meal plans, and then automatically reorder anything you're out of stock in your.
Yeah, and that's the one that stuck to me. That's what I hate the most is going grocery shopping. I don't know how many of you guys in our audience hate grocery shopping. I think it's zero to little ROI on grocery shopping. To get up, go, pick it up, buy it, prep, cook it, eat it. It's like, I would much rather my refrigerator know what I like, know what I eat. When it gets low, reorder it. Me, my son, whoever else in the house with us, like just get it done. So that's one thing I'm actually looking forward to. So having those smart refrigerators. And yes, I know most of you guys are going to say something about the cameras on the refrigerator and people hacking into it. But again, those are all things that we have to worry about, right? But there will be security measures put in place for these things, right? So again, there's actually a lot of benefits to having things like that in your daily life. That's those repetitive, monotonous tasks that you just don't get anything back from, especially any type of happiness from it.
Mm.
Let the robots do it. Let the AI do it. Come on, bring it on.
Is there anything else outside of your cooking that you would like if you think about the life and the days that you have
Mm.
now, are there any other items that you could think of?
I don't want it to replace a nanny as far as picking up and drop offs. I don't think it really, as far as my plans and my schedule, as far as work, could it go shift around my work meetings, my personal meetings, my business meetings? I'm not opposed to that either, right? Like again, if it can reorder things or shift my daily and organize my calendar, and I live and die by my calendar. People know me like my calendar. I have not only the Tech Team calendar, I have my personal calendar, I have my work calendar.
Oh my god, don't get me
So they
started.
all overlap. Some people see like, oh, is it so much? I'm like, it is, but to me, it's like it's very organized in a certain way. So if I can set up my agentic AI to understand what's the priority for today and what's coming up in a few days or even next week, I would love that.
Yeah.
How about you?
So definitely on the cooking. I actually like if it was something, if we could even get to the point that something could make my food, that entire process, I completely
Mm,
agree with you, especially nowadays where I feel like lines at the grocery store is such a random
mm,
tangent, but lines at the grocery store have gotten insane. I feel like no one works at the registers. Everybody's trying to do self checkout, and people go there with a full carton, like a full cart of stuff, and
mhm,
it's starting to make me hate the process. I actually used to really love it, and I
yeah,
don't now. But when I think about other things, I actually would, if I could, definitely do like an autonomous car that could run errands for
mm,
me and just sit. And like if it could schedule and call, like, hey, I
I'm
want you to
outside.
come pick up or drop off this, get that. Because oftentimes, especially in Atlanta,
Mm,
traffic, different things that just set you back, and thinking about time that can be utilized to do
ooh,
work versus running that, that I would love if there was a system that was like, hey, start my car, here's the route, call this place, because you know they can also make calls
yep,
and have voices where it's like, hi, I'm here for pickup for Janita, and just run around town. I would actually take a getting bride too, like pick my
mm.
daughter up from school, take her to practice, like if things are tight, definitely.
Yeah, have you seen Uber Teens? Have you seen that on the app yet? Yeah,
No.
it picks up kids just specifically.
Oh
So yeah, a
wow.
whole little process for that too. So I haven't tried it yet, but it's definitely there for us. But the whole travel piece is even better for me, right? Order my Uber. What's the best time to leave? Like depending on the traffic, right? You're scheduling my flights. You're maybe even setting an itinerary for my trip, like doing
Mhm.
everything and coordinating everything from
And
across the way.
calling them, because that's the
Having
added thing, is like people do that in
yeah,
chat,
talking
but
to
they don't
a
understand that agentic
mm,
is then when you're like, yes, this itinerary looks good, go ahead and book. They do it for
yeah,
you. That would
yeah.
be dope.
So they know everything, right? So they have our passport information. They might have it our bank account information, right? So now we get into the security aspects of it. So again, we see a lot of benefits to agentic AI, right? So I think we're both pro agentic AI a little bit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am. And to give some things, because I was like, okay, how can we maybe share some things if people are racking their brains at home right now of like, well, how would I use it? Or how maybe, okay, those are fine, but I love to grocery shop, or I love, the details in
Dope.
creating a plan. So I looked up some steps that can help. Which is first start with the pain point. So pick a repetitive task or bottleneck in your day to day or business. So, lead follow up, scheduling, customer inquiries, then try to replace or assist it with an agentic tool. Step two would be to use tools that integrate with what you already use. So, kind of similar to that example earlier, you want to make sure that your systems that you're telling it to work through actually integrate with each other. So if you already have a Gmail, CRM, a Slack, whatever, find agents that can actually plug into all three so your systems are
Mhm.
fully handled. Three, lean into small gains. Even saving 5 hours a week adds up. I always love that thought, especially when I talk to people, fellow business owners, or people that I'm coaching, and they're like, but I want to do it myself. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how much do you charge an hour? that's still costing you.
Right.
So why not have someone do it? So saving 5 hours a week definitely can help and also can be reallocated to creative work or rest, which is key. And then last, maintain human in the loop. I love that. So for quality control and to avoid mistakes or any biases. So an agent can auto draft replies, but let a human actually send them or flag exceptions.
Mm.
So that way you make sure that you're not just like setting it and forgetting it.
So one thing I wanna challenge you on there is, well, not challenge you, but I wanna dive deeper into the human portion of keeping people in the loop.
Mhm.
But why do you feel like you wanna keep people in the loop and you have this process to go from point A to point B? Is it just to trust with the agent or making sure they're using the right agents or going to the right collaborative tools, let's say?
The way I think about it is like there will always be exceptions to your process.
Mm,
And so I think it's just to make sure that you're keeping an eye out on the exceptions,
right.
on, hey, maybe this process doesn't work anymore. It might not be immediate, could be 6 months down the road, but you're
Mhm.
like, oh, we actually added another offering. And what we did before and how we have our system set up, it doesn't work for this offering. So if I have someone there to be like, hey, we've grown too much that now this doesn't work or we need to revisit. I think that's the bigger part, but it's much less of like having someone do the work, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, no, and I think I want to keep it minimal as possible until we do get further into the future. It's still that trust factor of where you're giving your information to. If it's again, if it's medical, if it's banking, if it's I think those are probably the two biggest things that we don't want to get out right from just an
Mhm.
ethical concern standpoint and what people can do with that data. We deal with so many data breaches today. It's like, okay, well now we're again, we talked about another episode where we're willingly signing our access and our data over.
Consistently every day.
So right, so I think that's probably the biggest concern I have is like, what can it do, and how will it be put at risk? So again, we got to monitor that, right? So we're going somewhere. Does it cancel something? Does it, or even ask something that you don't want to? Now you can't get that money back, or you're somewhere you don't want to be,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's where there's still human factors around technology. I think I want people to remember that we are not just putting this into our lives. We are just adding it to it's a subsequent or additional add-on. But
Yeah.
don't take yourself out of this process. Don't be the people on this side. Well, say we have a dystopian future where 50% of the people are using agentic AI. They're moving about their days. They're not thinking. They're just flowing whatever the robots tell them to do. The AI tell them to do. Then you have this other side that's like, I don't want any access to. I'm gonna still do what I want to do. But I do kind of seeing people torn between the ways. So I was like, I'd rather be in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't want the full autonomy and be lost in the sauce. Still have just that connection with people is always going to be my biggest thing too. So
It's interesting because when you're saying that, what it parallels to me is like what they what was kind of preached to women in my generation growing up. Excuse me.
mm, yeah,
Life is life. Um, which is like you want to make sure that you know where power company,
mm,
where the bills come from, how much money you have in your account. Because if you are over reliant on
mm,
even humans, but in this space, the parallel of like being so reliant on
yeah,
agentic AI, that who knows, technology could change so much that now you're like, I have no idea how to book travel.
mm,
Like, oh my gosh, the AI
yeah,
agent is out. And now I have no idea how to even do this. Or you're tying it to like your medical or
yeah,
kid stuff and you're like, I didn't even know this road was closed because you've had your car go
yeah.
ride this way for a while.
Yeah,
It's
but I
like,
think I
oh,
think for the simple tasks like waking up on time and just having things prepared for me. Again, if I think about my day to day tasks and just things I have to do every single week, wake me up, make my bed, make my breakfast, order my food, plan my gym schedule. I just have everything ready. It's those monotonous tasks where it's like it's easy, it's simple. They can take care of that piece. I don't want to just paying on my bills automatically, just undrafting things. I check everything still.
yeah,
Even if I have it on auto draft or a bill pay, I'm still checking it just to make
as
sure
you should.
it's not, $400 water bill that's leaking
Mhm.
somewhere. It's like, why am I paying this? So, but I do think the finance side of it, the logistics, admin working, just those monotonous tasks. Again, everything that's running visibly. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind passing those things off. In the coming days. But again, if it can help me remove just those bottlenecks in my day and just those extra tasks and gives me more time with family, friends, again, all for it.
Shoot, even things like signing kids up for summer camp.
Mm,
Like, there's so many things that, like, hey, I'd like every March or February, whenever things get crazy and everybody starts
Mm,
opening, go ahead. These are the types of camps I want to in. This is
yeah,
my account threshold or the price threshold that I'm willing to pay.
yeah,
I want it to fit these qualifications and be within X amount of radius,
yeah,
and just set it and forget it every year and like say, hey, follow it with her. I'll come back if she
yeah.
has any new interests. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, and before I was telling you, even with my son, like he's signing up for all these different activities in school, which I'm happy for and proud of. But there's more work and effort and more things now I have to be accountable for with him as well. So
1000%.
again, I get it. He's 13, but he doesn't have a car. He doesn't drive. He has money, but it still come out of my account. Those little reminders, those certain things of him applying for things or creating essays or applications or submitting things online, I rather have notification and reminders, and it just kind of all just goes back to him, and we just kind of communicate that way too. Is this because again, having your children communicate things to you, things are going to get lost in translation.
For sure.
Go get some help and and bridge that gap, or otherwise we're going to be in a room together. Gives us more time savings in that regard. I see a benefit there too.
I do. And then, like, as we're looking at the future of agentic AI, and of course, we're always bringing it back to like, well, now that we've hit our personal life, how does this look in like the workspace? And interestingly enough, I recently had a prior client reach out to me to re-engage to start talking about like a career shift,
Mm,
and it was
okay.
super interesting because they're in sales and like operations is kind of the background, but now they're like, yeah, I want to be a project manager. And I'm currently trying to figure out a way to like sensitively but appropriately tell them to not do this, because it almost feels, and like this agentic AI is a good example, it just feels like certain things you're signing up to be a part of something that is closer to going away
Mm,
than it is staying. And the reason being, so when I looked it up, there are going to be, and they're starting to form, because of course these things are super expensive.
mhm,
So it's not something that I think is on the forefront for a large span of
yeah.
companies. So I want to put a big thing out there so people aren't necessarily freaking out about
Mm,
it. But you can have project management agents that basically delegate the entire project
mm,
for you. So if you just spit it the information that you would your project manager, and then it will coordinate the calls. It can automatically look at everybody's schedule. It can make sure that like we're meeting deadlines and
mhm,
understanding the specifications. It can listen to the meetings. It already they already
mm.
take notes. So it can take the notes, synthesize them, update everything on the project plan. You know, it's like it's very interesting, and AI can just check off all the
Yeah, and
milestones.
see, and that's where I think even this might be another side topic, but seeing people come from I come from a software implementation background, and I'm in that world now, delivering it on a global scale. We think about just those tasks. That's fine. It can use it to track it, but it can't go in those meetings and understand like who are the key stakeholders there. Should we still have this meeting if the certain people don't show up? Are we on the right track? So it could sit there and set it for 30 minutes, but now I need another minute, another 30 minutes or hour to schedule something. If we don't do all the deep dives, we don't cover all the information. But again, I do think from a can I look at my Zoom AI, or can I look at like I say Teams, and it's creating these notes and it's creating these next steps? That's fine. But the follow-ups to get it there, I do think we're some years out because every company has to be on board with that. And I think it's only the very few big ones, those Fortune 500s, where they may be able to do it, but they're still so far away from it. Is still a human factor that comes into play when it comes to influencing, and AI is not there yet. AI won't be there for a long time.
So
Influencing decisions, creating different alternatives, and it's still a form of empathy where customers come back and they just complain or they want something or they just need help. And it's just, and again, it's starting that day where, again, that plumber scenario we talked about, I think
mhm.
last week, where a robot shows up to your door and it's like, okay, move out the way, I'm going to go fix your plumbing. It's the same thing with our day to day jobs, and I hear it in every single industry when people just kind of need that consoling a little bit. And I think that I'm glad that we're in this space. When I say we, I mean the millennials, because we are next step as far as being the leaders and running these companies. We'll still know that there's a human factor that's needed.
Yeah.
Now, after that, I don't know.
Well, or just after that too, with the years that they might refine it. Because even with that, the example of like, okay, you still might need someone to know who the key stakeholders are. in my world, these types of things don't mean that there's nobody, but it does mean that, hey, a company would have maybe hired 10 project managers. Now we just need a project manager to make sure all the project management agents are doing what they
Mm,
need to. And what that person will end up doing is refining and sharing things like, hey, going forward on on projects, we need to identify who the key stakeholders are, give them what is that? There's an acronym that's escaping me right now, but it's like where you have the responsible party, rapid, I think,
racy.
where racy, thank you. And it's like you
Responsible,
have,
accountable, consulted, informed.
yep. And so it's like then you just give them a racy chart and now they know, hey, that person isn't in the meeting. It's not necessary. And then it just expands from there.
Yeah.
Because what's crazy is I saw a demonstration of this where it was, I believe, centered around like a customer service center and all of the AI agents were calling to or handling customer service questions because they had accumulated, just
Enough
like anything
data.
else,
Mhm.
there's enough FAQs or things that you can combine with like your policies to explain things. And so they had a full digital customer service. Then there's an agent that acts as the manager of these customer service representative agents to make sure that they are meeting quota, that we're not having like more than 3 exchanges or something like that. And then that manager and the other people on their level, they're actually then having one more agent on top of it to make sure that like scripts and things, like all of the targets that they have are going right. And then that agent's data gets pushed to a human. And so
Yeah.
that's like the redesign that I think is quite
Yeah.
closer if we, I mean, not
Yeah.
like around the corner,
Right.
but quite closer than we
I
think
can
of
see it
like these
happening.
jobs where which that would piss me off royally because I'm already mad when I hear somebody asking me 20 different questions and asking me to push numbers before I can talk to a person.
Mm. Yep.
That
Just
that
get you where you
is
need to be.
oh my gosh, that is an area that I almost am like, please can we not automate this at all? But
Yeah.
it is a different world.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, yeah, yeah, we can cut all this piece out too. But again, I think, the people who have equity to it, who have access to it, again, they will continue to thrive. But again, I think it's just staying ahead of it. So, I think it's just learning. I watched, either the CEO of ChatGPT or somebody from Google, but teaching people the learning the critical thinking skills to create and again to influence and be social. I think that's
Mhm.
still gonna thrive in a lot of these different tools that are coming. Um, but again, those monotonous tasks, yeah, they're gonna get out of here. Those low hanging fruit, they're gonna attack all those first, and it's gonna build up. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But I do think is us as an audience and as a society to still make sure that people can have jobs and have a way of living,
Yeah.
create that way of living. So again, so I do plan on being that person that still can employ people. That's the goal. I don't want to just say, hey, this machine or this robot can do that, or this AI tool can do that. So,
And what's
um,
interesting because I'll replace O as the stat woman this week. But nearly 80% of organizations are using AI agents in some capacity
mhm,
already, and 96% plan to expand them in this year. But Gartner, who's a big research
mhm,
kind of firm, basically they expect over 40% though of agentic AI projects to be scrapped by 2027 because the cost is so high,
mm,
clear value depending on because again, you do get into a space where you're still having to pay for the tech. So at some point it probably meets that question of
mhm,
is this actually saving us money and
right.
frustration other than having people do this on
Mhm.
repeat or overhyped expectations.
Yeah. I mean, and I think we talk about this at work too, where, say we're using a lot of AI tools, whether it's like Notebook LLM, where it could dump a lot of data into one agent and it kind of just refurbishes it for you and spits it out. So it's really specific and focused. But then on the other side of that is that company that we're giving it to, are they going to be up to speed? Are they going to be as fast to regurgitate it and spit it back out? If they're not having their tools kind of collaborate with ours, then again, we're still going at the same pace. So we're still just sitting around waiting. So we can get
Mhm.
faster, We can deliver more answers, but again, do they want that answer? Do they accept it or do they reject it? So we're still kind of spinning cycles. So it's going to give you a fresher answer. It's going to put in a tone. And, I did it all yesterday and I was responding with somebody. I didn't sit there for 5 seconds to respond to his answer. I just put it in ChatGPT and then spit it back out to him.
Mhm.
And he was like, he was loving my answers. We didn't agree on our approach forward, but it helped soothe and just kind of mend that it helped mend that escalation, and then I appreciate that aspect of it. Um, so yeah, but it definitely can go beyond just giving answers. It can show some types acts of improvement for sure in the future. So
Definitely. But I think it's super helpful. Something to kind of tie it into, our community and just what it can look like. What's interesting is like I think about it as like people who could never afford an assistant or like wouldn't be able to afford an assistant and being able to
mhm,
have an opportunity to actually have again, even if it's like 5% more
yeah,
efficiency in their lives for regular
yeah,
day-to-day things that might be
hmm
daunting. Um, I think about that as like one thing. And then also, I think we spoke on it before, but as an entrepreneur and for other fellow entrepreneurs, really does allow you
yeah,
to scale and
yeah,
have more opportunities with much less funding than hiring an employee or
yeah,
even, a lot of things like
yeah.
that, that if you can actually invest in it. One caveat though I've seen is you do have to have some sort of like digital savviness at this
Oh
point. It's
yeah, no, for
nothing that
sure.
is like boxed up like a chat
Yeah,
GPT though.
yeah. And I think there's so many tools that are coming out there, and we maybe skimmed over it a couple episodes ago. Is and the only one I know is Notebook LLM. I think there's other tools that are out there that are being introduced to every single company, and they're all over the place, right? But which ones are going to stick? And that's what I'm really kind of curious about and looking forward to. So just to say, if you see something, try it out. Again, there's so many free trials out there for 2 weeks or a month even. Just do the free trial and just try it out, see how it benefits you in your workspace or even your personal life. Like, there's nothing hurting you. Make sure the companies are legit. Right? I do think there's going to be some out there that just want to get your data as well. So be very um, clear and make sure you make a sound judgment which one you're choosing. But again, we can speak to the open AIs and the Microsofts and the Metas, right? They have our data already anyway, so you might as well just go try out their
Try it out.
tools. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Mm,
the other thing I would say is definitely try them out. Don't be afraid because something in these models that's a bit different
mm,
than others is that our voice will really matter. Having some understanding of like tasks that really cater to us, the importance of it. Even like when I asked chat to maybe put a little flavor on some things, I'm like, this is so god awful. Like there was no one black in the room. It's like
yeah.
all of the like, oh, you're a stunton. And it's like, who the fuck says that, you know?
Right.
And so I do think like we have an opportunity, but also with us bringing this up, I hope that people get curious about it
Mm,
and can actually adopt it early, be in the mix. If you hear someone at your job talking about agentic AI or once, because that'll be
yeah.
soon, somebody will start coming out with more and more platforms that actually are a bit more affordable for the day to day user. A lot of these are definitely at the enterprise level right now,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
but it'll work its way down. And I think it only helps to start being curious now and looking into it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be working its way down a lot sooner than later, which we'll dive into, next week, which we spoke about, Meta and their glasses that just dropped, last week. So, yeah, we're right on it. So it's gonna be in the consumer's hands a lot sooner than we think.
Much sooner. I mean, at least some. Those glasses
Oh,
are
yeah.
expensive as hell, but
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
talk about that next week.
yeah.
So there are some accessible agentic AI platforms for smaller budgets. Some maybe the everyday user, but again, I'm going to use that term loosely because they are a bit more pricey. It's different than some of our other tools that we might be able to get for like $10, $12 a month. So there is Alta. They build AI agents for revenue teams. So, inbound lead agents, SDRs, or sales development representatives in AI form. So, if you're in sales, marketing, or always needing to chase clients, it's definitely a good platform. The other one is, or two more, sorry, Artisan AI. Their platform actually lets you deploy digital colleagues that handle things like business development, outreach, routine ops work. And then the last is Suite. They do actually offer a tiered subscription model to focus on integrating into systems that people already use. So think Salesforce, HubSpot,
Mm.
Slack. It's more approachable for businesses of a moderate size, but I would like to think that this is a little bit of like a Zapier meets AI agent. So they're actually
Mm.
able to go ahead and integrate with other systems.
Are you using any right now?
I'm not,
Really?
but I need to look into some a
Yeah.
bit more. I've had a couple of good projects come up, and I'm actually working through okay, once I have certain templates set up, how can I just go ahead and get ahead with like a marketing strategy to say,
Mhm.
hey, this is the font, this is the color palette, this is the brand voice, this is the model of all the various templates that we have.
Mhm.
Here are the major dates. Can you please just send these for the rest of the year and for us, like for the
Yeah.
rest of forever?
Yeah. And so for those out there in our tech team world, we're all familiar with Adobe. We're familiar with ChatGPT. They have AI agents. Just go in there, Google it, and both of those products and those companies, they have free instructional guides. They want you to use their products. They
Because
want you to adopt it. So they have
they have to
trials
learn.
and classes. And I sat through one for ChatGPT. Honestly, I didn't even know it could talk to you, or you can just speak to it, and that's where it kind of changed the game for me. It's like instead of just typing, just talk to it and just yeah, it's wild, but
It's
it's been
great.
helping me a lot at work. So again, I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve here.
Listen, because even things like that of like, hey, it's 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 a tool I use
Mm,
all the time, especially for anything in writing, because it'll
mhm,
be very easy to be like, hey, this is the email I got. I want to be understanding, but I want to tell them I cannot because this reason. And then I don't have to rack my brain and edit back and forth what I need to think about. Or even with large form like presentations, documents that I give, I still have to know what to put in. And so
yep,
it still might be a very long list of things because I like to type so I don't forget
yep,
anything and I can see it. But then it will actually
yep,
format all my thoughts,
mhm,
put it in tables. I'll be like, hey, can you just give me some formulas so I can pop it in an Excel sheet as a dashboard example? It's just these things where it's like, yeah, I know how to do this, but I don't want to spend 7 hours doing this
oh
stuff,
yeah, I
you
spent a
know?
lot of early mornings and late nights putting together
Oh
spreadsheets
my
and,
God.
and PowerPoint. So yeah, if you're in that consulting world, you know what I'm talking about. So
Exactly. And you can literally say, hey, this is what I want to achieve. Give me step by
mhm,
step instructions and shortcuts. I want copy paste snippets. I just
yep.
did a full email campaign. I've never done an email campaign in my life. But you know what I did? I told ChatGPT, hey, I'm using Klaviyo. This is what I want to do. I want to have this button
Mhm,
direct me here. This is our domain. Here are the websites. Give me all the snippets. I want the
mm.
HTML code so I can just paste it in. Do you know that thing works?
Yeah, it does it all. Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, "What?" I mean, I hate the lady that's out of a job now probably, but it is one of those things
Yeah,
where it puts it in perspective of like, but now I can set it and forget it.
yeah,
I don't need
yeah.
someone to do this every
Yeah.
week, 2
Automate,
weeks.
repeat. Yeah.
So,
No more VBA code.
no. Like,
Push this button every
this
Monday morning. Oh
none of
yeah.
it. None of it. So with that, I mean, I think that we're in a new frontier. The question is just if you'll use it is or sorry, the question isn't just if you'll use it, but how you can make sure it works for you, your career, and your community. So,
Yep. And I was just saying, make sure the benefit outweighs the risk. So I do invite all of our audience, all our listeners, share your opinion on our socials,
mhm.
YouTube, Spotify,
Everything.
TikTok. Yeah. So no, I think I think there's way more benefits that outweigh the risk here. Again, let's just stay ahead of the curve. Let's just stay with where the world is going and understand how do we make our lives better.
Yeah, and with that, since O is normally our closer, I'll close this off. Please like, share, subscribe. We are on YouTube, Spotify. We have Instagram and TikTok. So check us out on all platforms. Do let us know what platforms you're using today, and we'll see you next week.
Love y'all.
All right, sweet.